Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Friday evening, March 14, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you all utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section, but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here where the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below, let me know what the that's like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us, according to the latest year and GFS supercomputer model runs that came out today. So keep your eyes focused on the timestamp at the top as we go out to the next 168 hours. That's the next 7 days. Keep your eyes focused on Jamaica right here as we look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens that represents inches of rainfall. So let's see what's going to be taking place. As we head into Saturday morning, what do we see according to the Euro? Some greens represent rainfall across the waters to the south of the island. And then by Saturday afternoon, we see that rainfall across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes. What does the GFS show for the same time period? For Saturday morning, the rainfall is more so to the west of us. And then Saturday afternoon has the rainfall more so across western parishes. And then as we head into Sunday morning, what do we see? We see some amount of moisture to the south of us, to the east of us, to the west of us, according to the Euro. Then, by the end of the day on Sunday, we see that rainfall across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes. Let us see if the GFS is showing something similar. On Sunday morning, we see that rainfall, the waters to the south of us, west of us, east of us. Then, by Sunday afternoon, we see that rainfall across eastern, northern, and western parishes. Very interesting. What's going to be taking place on Monday morning according to the Euro? We see some moisture to the west of us, to the north of us, to the southwest of us. And then, on a Monday evening, we see that rainfall across southwestern parishes. This is what the GFS is showing. Monday morning, we see that rainfall across western Jamaica, southwestern Jamaica. And then Monday afternoon, we see that rainfall across southwestern parishes. So I guess it's in line with what the Euro is showing for Monday afternoon. Very interesting. Heading into Tuesday morning, what do we see? We see an abundance of moisture associated with the frontal system across the northwestern end of the island, maybe Hanover, St. James, Trelawney. And we also see the line of shores associated with that frontal system extending up into eastern Cuba, the Bahamas, all the way up the northern portion of North Atlantic, right here to the east of the US. And we also see that moisture extending down into portion of Central America. And then by the end of the day on Tuesday, we see that we should be getting some amount of rainfall across sections of some eastern, southern, and western parishes. Very interesting. Let us see if the GFS is showing something similar. Tuesday morning, we see some of that rainfall coming into portion of northwestern Jamaica associated with that possible frontal system. Then by Tuesday afternoon, we see that rainfall across section of northern Jamaica. Still very interesting. And you see what's going to be taking place on Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning, not seeing much of anything across the island. Wednesday afternoon, not seeing much of anything either according to the Euro. Let's see if the GFS is showing something similar. Wednesday morning, all we're seeing is white. Wednesday afternoon, something similar. So definitely drier conditions coming by the middle of next week. Thursday morning, not seeing much of anything. Thursday afternoon, still not seeing much of anything. Thursday morning on the GFS and afternoon, showing something similar to the Euro. Then by the end of the 168 hours, look at Friday, March 21. Not seeing much of anything on the Euro. GFS is showing something very similar. So I guess the next couple of days, we're talking about Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we should be getting in on some amount of isolated morning rainfall, if not some isolated afternoon rainfall. Then clearly Wednesday into Friday, it's going to be dry times for sure. Going to be getting in on what we normally get during the month of March. If we take a look at the total accumulated precipitation forecast for the next 168 hours, both the Euro and the GFS models are showing all of the greens into the yellows, into the oranges and the reds. That represents what we see here on the key on the right. That's 0.1 of an inch of rainfall all the way up to an inch of rainfall. And that's going to be for sections of Florida, Cuba, the Bahamas, Jamaica, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the Yucatan Peninsula, Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, Nicaragua, section of Costa Rica, Panama. We also see some of that rainfall across sections of the ABC Islands, section of the Eastern Caribbean. We're talking about the US and British Virgin Islands, Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, Montserrat, Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago. Well, clearly we're seeing that the most rainfall over the next 168 hours are being highlighted by all of the dark reds into the purples and the pinks that represent what we see here on the camera right. That's 2 all the way up to 5 inches of rainfall, and that's going to be taking place across the waters to the northeast of the Caribbean, according to both the Euro and the GFS models, as well as across section of northern South America. We're talking about Colombia, section of Venezuela, maybe Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana getting in on the mix as well. But regarding Jamaica's total accumulated precipitation forecast for the next 7 days, we can clearly see the blues into the greens represents anywhere from a millimeter of rainfall, maybe all the way up to 25 millimeters of rainfall. The GFS showing more blues than anything else, just the western end getting in on the greens. We'll see it actually plays out, and we know most of this rainfall is going to be taking place during the afternoon hours. So whatever happened, I'll definitely be here to keep you posted on our other social media platforms. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see broken orange lines right here excuse me, off the east of Florida associated with a trough. You can also see a frontal system extending all the way from northern portion of North Atlantic all the way down into portion of the Leeward Islands. And we see a ridge of high pressure right here to the northeast of Bermuda, another ridge of high pressure right here to the northwest of the Cabo Verde Islands. And we know these ridges of high pressure are responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before we lost the sunlight, we can make out all of the entities that we just mentioned. First of all, we see the clouds associated with the trough right here to the east of Florida. We also see the clouds associated with the frontal system extending down to portions of the northeastern Caribbean right here. And we can definitely make out the low to mid-level flow of the clouds being steered from east to west, all courtesy of the ridges of high pressure to the north steering these clouds to that direction. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Friday, March 14, 2025. It was stated that rainfall would have affected section of northern Jamaica on Friday morning, also affecting section of some central and western parishes on Friday afternoon. We know northern Jamaica, we're talking about Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. And central parishes, I know we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine. While western parishes, I know we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And although no post was made regarding anything affecting northern Jamaica in the morning, we might have had some overcast skies, but that was basically it. Maybe some rainfall out to the far east. And then, by afternoon, the visible satellite image was posted right here on our Twitter page with Jamaica. And keep in mind that it was not only posted here, but it was posted on our Instagram page with Jamaica, on our TikTok page with Jamaica, and on our Facebook page with Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there, as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we can see the clouds bring overcast skies, if not some isolated showers, to sections of not only central and western Jamaica, but even section of eastern Jamaica is getting in on the action too. So anywhere from Hanover, Westmoreland, St. James, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Trelawney, section of Clarendon, section of St. Anne, sections of St. Catherine, section of St. Mary, maybe northern St. Andrew, western St. Thomas, northwestern St. Thomas, southwestern Portland, getting in on the action. And we even highlighted what was taking place early this morning, 2:35 a.m. at that, regarding the weather, because you know that the blood moon was taking place last night. And we saw that we're getting in on some amount of overcast skies last night into early this morning. At this time, when the infrared close-up satellite image was posted at around 2:35, we were getting in on some overcast skies across sections of some southern parishes, definitely blocking out the moon for some folks, but some of us definitely saw it. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before we lost the sunlight, we can make out that we didn't have much in the way of a definite flow of the clouds. Look at the direction in which the clouds are flowing. Not the usual east-west kind of flow at all. And we see the clouds across eastern, central and western parishes, but it's more so across the western end of eastern Jamaica, not necessarily across sections of Portland or St. Thomas. But we definitely got in on the overcast skies, if not some isolated shores. And we see that even although we lost the sunlight, we're still getting in on the overcast skies, if not the isolated shores, as we speak. So let me know what the weather is like in your area right now. Taking a look at the infrared close-up satellite images, we can see that yes, we have the milky white shades that represent the cloud cover across section of the island, but we don't have the blues into the greens, yellows, oranges and reds that represents the convection. No deep convection here, no thunderstorm activity at all. And if we take a look at See Jamaica's YouTube channel at around 2:34 p.m, we can make out that we were definitely getting on some cloudy conditions across the waters of the Bagua Gorge right here. People in their vehicles going about their business. But we didn't see much in the way of rainfall taking place at the time though. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams for your viewing pleasure, and they're planning on increasing the amount of cameras that they have in and around the island. So subscribe today so that you don't miss out. Taking a look at the total accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map definitely paints a picture of where we might have had the rainfall today, mainly across sections of some central and western parishes. Nothing too significant at all, but we definitely got that, especially where we saw the clouds. And we definitely have confirmation of what the weather was like. We have one comment here from Chambers_enrichments on our Instagram page stating, yes, the blood moon was visible in Mobay. Vision 876 stating, I didn't see it. And we also have Kayla_Aquarius_February_1 stated, blood moon is happening in Redwood, St. Catherine. Thanks for confirming. But regarding the weather today, we see one comment here from Sansi_Cousins stating, raining in Mandeville, love it. We have Marlon_1God_ stating, no rain yet, but the place is wet. We have a Refine Lady 1 stating, rain in Linstead right now. Dynamic_speaker stating, no rain yet. Even on our Facebook page, we had a comment coming in from Raxon Campbell stating, raining heavily in Trelawney. And even on our Twitter page, we had one comment, well, two comments coming in here from Jomar Parks stating, heavy rain in northern Clarendon and South St. Anne. And he also stated, third day in a row we're getting rain. So thank you for confirming what the weather has been like in your area. Taking a look at what's happening right now regarding the very latest still image from the Weather Nerds website. The latest still image is showing 0015 UTC, which is actually 7:15 p.m. So this just came out 8 minutes ago, considering that it is 7:23 p.m. right now. And we can see the clouds representing the basic rainfall, if not overcast skies, being experienced across mainly central and western parishes. So maybe across sections of Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, St. Elizabeth, Trelawney, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Anne, St. Catherine, maybe St. Mary, maybe even section of northwestern St. Andrew, getting in on somewhat of overcast skies, if not some isolated shores as we speak, blocking out the moon, if not the stars right now. And we have the Cuban Doppler radar imagery confirming what we're seeing on the infrared close-up satellite. We also have the Guantanamo Bay naval radar imagery here, so we're reloading everything so that we have the latest images to show. Alright, so the latest image is showing 8:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 7:20 p.m. Jamaica time. So this just came out 4 minutes ago, considering that it's 7:24 p.m. now. And we can see the rainfall as represented by the greens. Into the yellows, they represent moderate rainfall, fuerte, strong or heavy rainfall across sections of Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, section of Westmoreland, section of Hanover, getting in on the rainfall as we speak. And if we take a look at the Guantanamo Bay Cuban Naval Radar image, you can't make out anything across the waters to the north of Portland or across Portland, but we do make out some isolated shores across southeastern Cuba, across the southwestern end of the western peninsula of Haiti. Regarding the Cayman radar, we can make out some isolated shores right here to the west of Jamaica, not seeing much of anything across the Cayman Islands, southern Cuba or western Jamaica at all. But regarding what's happening here on the Halfway Tree live camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel, we can see that as of right now, 7:24 p.m. not seeing much of anything taking place. People in their vehicles going about their business, people walking about going about their business on this busy Friday evening in the corporate area. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we're 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 24 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Saturday, temperature should dip down to about 23 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 22 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Saturday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Saturday. We can see Jamaica right here embedded in some yellow shades that we know represent up to 1 degree Celsius above normal temperatures. I know the normal temperature for the month of March across the island of Jamaica is around 87.3 degrees Fahrenheit, and when that's converted to degrees Celsius, it's around 30.7 degrees Celsius. So I should be receiving anywhere from 30.7 to 31.7 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Saturday. And we have at least one maintenance outage advisory here from my JPS Online's Twitter page to highlight. I wonder that we have to highlight these because when we have power outages, it can definitely make the heat feel even worse because we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down. So if you live or work in these areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, let them know that a power outage is coming their way on Saturday, March 15, 2025. And we're referring to Harmony Hall, Robbins Bay, Islington, and Tremolsworth in St. Mary from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And if you are going to be affected by the heat, we have some tips right here to beat the heat. It states here, when outside, seek shade. Eat fresh. Try eating cold foods such as salads and fruit. Rest. Make sure you get enough sleep and rest if you're feeling tired. Soak. Take a cool shower or bath to help you cool down. And I cannot stress enough the importance of staying hydrated. Drink lots of water even if you're not thirsty. And put away those sugar drinks and drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, we know that the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the bottom. That's yellows, oranges, reds, and whites within those reds. And we can see the abundance of dry air across the entire Atlantic basin, more so off the western coast of Africa, as well as off the coast of Mexico here in the Gulf. But in terms of the moist air, we see the blues here and there across the eastern Pacific and the intertropical convergence zone. And we also see some yellows in there too, that represent the low end of the scale in terms of dry air. So it would make sense that those areas are the most moist, which is where we have the rainfall even across Jamaica. But regarding the Saharan dust forecast for 18 UTC on Saturday, that's 1 p.m., we can see that everywhere across the Western Hemisphere, South America, the Caribbean, North America definitely in the clear, because all the browns represent the Saharan dust, should be across the southern main development region, if not the eastern main development region, if not all across Africa for sure. That's where the Sahara Desert is. It makes sense that the most dust is over there. We also see a lot of it in trailing into portions of Europe too. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can see the mixture of light shades of blues to dark shades of blues into purples and pinks. That represents anywhere from 0.5 meter wave height all the way up to 1.5 meter wave height, and maybe even the purples into the pinks represent a 2 to 3 meter wave height from the Western Caribbean to the Gulf. And if we take a look at Jamaica's wave forecast for tomorrow, up to 0.9 of a meter wave height on the north coast, 0.9 of a meter wave height on the south coast. And that's because of the winds that are going to be expected. You clearly see more of an easterly flow across the eastern to the central and western Caribbean, more of a southeasterly flow across the northwestern Caribbean into the Gulf, and we see the light shades of greens into the bright shades of greens, representing anywhere from 5 to 10 knots in the eastern Caribbean, representing anywhere from 10 to 20 knots in the central to the western Caribbean, where we have the yellows into the gold, that's representing 25 to 30 knot winds. But regarding Jamaica's wind forecast, wind should be coming out of the east tomorrow on the north coast, averaging 14 knots, south coast up to 12 knots from the east. And we also see where the air is going to be piling up across inland areas of some central and western parishes. So that's where we could have more of the clouds building, then we have the daytime heating, and then those clouds getting heavy, bring us some amount of isolated afternoon rainfall, and the upper level wind still coming in from the west. So if we actually get some convection tomorrow, the high cold cloud tops would be sheared off towards the east. And if we take a look at the actual rainfall forecast maps now, both maps here from the Euro and the GFS are valid for 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 4 p.m. Jamaica time. And what do both maps show? The blues represent rainfall, mainly across western Jamaica right here on the GFS. We see sections of Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, northern St. Elizabeth, and northern Manchester shaded. And the Euro is showing something similar regarding the same areas, but it also is trying to incorporate section of central Clarendon, northeastern, central Manchester, northeastern Clarendon, southern St. Anne, section of St. Catherine, and section of St. Mary in the mix. But we're working with consensus, and we don't see that consensus on the GFS. So it's going to be a case where either both maps are correct regarding the western end or the northwestern end getting in on the most rainfall, or will it be a case where the Euro beats the GFS, bring us some rainfall across section of central Jamaica, or will it be a case where the GFS wins, we're not really getting on much of anything? Either way, both accumulated precipitation forecast maps are in agreement that it's going to be raining somewhere in Jamaica tomorrow. These maps are showing all the rainfall expected from now up until 3Z on Sunday, which is actually from now all the way up until 10 p.m. on Saturday. We can see the greens into the yellows, and we see that all across the island on both the Euro and the GFS. Euro a bit more robust, going all the way up to 0.31 of an inch of rainfall. The GFS only going up to at least 0.24 of an inch of rainfall. We'll see it actually plays out. And whatever happens, we'll take it. You know why? Because we're in the month of March. We're in the driest month of the year across Jamaica. In Kingston, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the top, we usually receive up to 10 millimeters of rainfall for the month. In Montego Bay, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the bottom, we usually receive up to 2.2 inches of rainfall for the month. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives for the month of March or for the entire year, you can visit weatherandclimate.com, and that website will show you that information. And you can use this nice graphic right here that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters that we receive on the rain gauge. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall, so you can do the calculations yourself. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have some amount of clouds bringing some overcast skies, if not some isolated shores, section of southern portion of Hispaniola, eastern, central, western Jamaica, section of Puerto Rico, the Leeward Islands, section of the Windward Islands getting into some of the action too. We can see the usual thunderstorm activity affecting sections of Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana, southern Venezuela, Colombia right there. And regarding the actual Doppler radar imagery of the northeastern Caribbean, let us see what's happening over there by Puerto Rico. As of right now, nothing is really affecting Puerto Rico, but we do see some isolated shores to the southwest of there, northwest of there, affecting maybe St. Martin and the areas to the north of Antigua and Barbuda. But if we load these images from earlier today, we can see where sections of eastern and southwestern Puerto Rico are definitely getting some light moderate to slightly heavy rainfall. Some hit or miss isolated shores in and around the Leeward Islands too. And regarding the Barbados radar, we can see that not much was taking place across Barbados, but we do see some isolated rain bands to the east of there pushing westward. So who knows, maybe some isolated shores later on tonight. We can also see some rainfall right there to the south of Barbados pushing westward into portion of the Grenadines, Grenada, Tobago, maybe even as far as Trinidad getting on some of the isolated shores. And if we take a look at what we have Doppler radar images, we can make out the rainfall that's currently affecting sections of eastern Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana, Colombia getting on the mix. And regarding where the rainfall is expected in the next 24 hours, both maps here from the year and the GFS are adamant that the most rainfall should be affecting section of the northeastern Caribbean. So we're talking about the US and British Virgin Islands, maybe a section of Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, Well, we don't see Antigua and Barbuda shaded, but here to the north of there definitely shaded, including St. Kitts and Nevis, section of Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, section of Jamaica, southeastern Cuba. We also see some rainfall coming into portions of the Windward Islands, Barbados, St. Vincent and Grenadines, Martinique, St. Lucia, section of Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, and the usual northern South American countries. We're talking about Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana, Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua. Well, not necessarily Nicaragua, but sections of El Salvador for sure. And we clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in agreement with that forecast. I know that when they're in agreement like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.